How are you all? We have finished 3 chapters from geography, from history, and civics. Now we will start the 4th chapter, that is from geography, land, soil, water, natural vegetation, and wildlife resources. This is a very interesting chapter. Before going into the chapter, I will tell you a story. In a small village in Tanzania, Africa, Mamba gets up very early in the morning to fetch water. She has to walk a long way and returns after a few hours. She then helps her mother in the house and joins her brothers in taking care of their goats. All her family owns is a piece of rocky land around their small hut. Mamba's father can barely grow some maize and beans on it after toiling very hard. This is not enough to feed their family for the whole year. Peter lives in the heart of the sheep rearing region in New Zealand, where his family runs a wool processing factory. Every day when he returns from school, Peter watches his uncle taking care of their sheep. Their sheep yard is situated on a wide grassy plain with hills in the far distance. It is managed in a scientific way using the latest technology. Peter's family also grows vegetables through organic farming. Now, you heard two stories, one Mamba and one Peter story. Mamba and Peter stay in two different parts of the world and lead very different lives. This difference is because of the differences in the quality of land, soil, water, natural vegetation, animals, and the usage of technology. You saw Peter's much more improved than Mamba's. The availability of such resources is the main reason that places differ from each other. In this chapter, we are going to look at those resources in detail. First, today we are going to look at the resource land. Land is among the most important natural resources. It covers only about 30% of the total area of the Earth's surface. What is 70%? That is water, right? Nearly 2/3 of the Earth is covered with water. Now, 30% of the total area of the Earth's surface and all parts of this small percentage are not habitable. Even though it is 30%, all of them are not habitable. What is habitable? Living or good enough for living. Like if it is a desert, you cannot live in a desert. The uneven distribution of population in different parts of the world is mainly due to varied characteristics of land and climate. If you have extreme climate, you obviously cannot live there. For example, the Arctic or the Antarctic, where it is extremely cold, the Siberian desert or the Sahara desert. The rugged topography, steep slopes of the mountains, low-lying areas susceptible to waterlogging where the water will be there, desert areas, thick forested areas are normally sparsely populated. Sparsely means minimum, less, right? People do not live in the Amazon jungle. People do not live in the Sahara desert. Now, we cannot say that people do not live at all, but it is sparsely populated, less populated. Plains and river valleys offer suitable land for agriculture. So, these are the densely populated areas of the world. Wherever there are plains, river valleys, you can see the people more. In India, you can see them in the Ganga plain, right? You can see Ganga plain where the population of India is more in the states of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and West Bengal. Land use. Why is the land used? Land is used for different purposes such as agriculture. The first is agriculture, forestry, mining, building houses, roads, and set up industries. This is commonly termed as land use. Now you can see in this picture that land is used for different purposes such as all the mentioned. Now there is a know-how trivia. 90% of the world population occupies only 30% of the land area. The remaining 70% of the land is either sparsely populated or uninhabited. That is 90% of the population is living only on 30% of the land. That is why the idea to find an alternative land where resources are available, that is why the advent of Mars or any other planet which is suitable for living, right? Common property resources. Land can also be divided on the basis of private land and community land. What is a private land? Private land is owned by an individual. For example, your house is built on a private land that belongs to maybe your father, mother, or grandfather and grandmother. So, your house is on a private land and the land is owned by you. Private land is owned by individuals, whereas community land is owned by the community for common uses like collection of fodder, fruits, nuts, or medicinal herbs. Now, it's very rare to see the community land because nowadays no land is kept empty. Lands are used for building. Big malls have been set up. All you see is urbanization, so community land is found less. These community lands are also called as common property resources. Change in land use over time. What has happened with the change? Now, people and their demands are ever growing, but the availability of land is limited. Now, if you know, India has a land boundary of 3.8 million square kilometer. Okay, does this change? It does not change, but the demand is ever growing. Our demand for the land never decreases, but the availability of the land is fixed. People started encroaching the common lands to build up commercial areas. So what do? The community land is used to build commercial areas. I told you, the mall, housing complexes. More and more people have to get accommodated with the houses in the urban areas. So this common land is used to build houses and to expand the agricultural land in the rural areas. To aim for much more production or greater production, lands are converted into agriculture land. Now, by doing this, what are we inviting? Are we inviting welcome? No, sadly, we are inviting Danger: land degradation because of the overuse of lands, landslides because of mining, soil erosion, again overuse of land, desertification are the major threats to the environment because of the expansion of agriculture and constructional activities. By doing this, so we have been able to bring danger, right? Such as land degradation, landslides, soil erosion, or desertification. Now you will see a picture. Look at this picture. It shows the change in land use over time. Look at how the land was used before. For agriculture, look at all the greenery. Yeah, the houses were simple, the life was simple, much more greenery was there. Look at the second picture. Suddenly the houses become cement houses, greenery became lesser, more houses started to crop up. In the third picture, you can see this is not a big city but becoming a city where the greenery is reduced to just a park and buildings are built, vehicles started creating pollution. Now the fourth picture is a metropolitan city like Kolkata, Mumbai, Delhi, Bengaluru. You cannot see any greenery here or land. We are looking at land, so I'll just come from picture 1, right? Abundant of land. 2, still the land is there. 3, very few. 4th, cannot see at all. The land is all used for building purposes. Roads, construction, buildings, commercialization of the land. So what do we need to do? We need to conserve the land. Growing population and their ever-growing demand has led to a large-scale destruction of forest cover. It has created a fear of losing this natural resource. So because of the growing population and the ever-growing demand, we are losing out the arable land, the forest cover. We are losing it for our greediness, demand. So therefore, the present rate of degradation of land resources must be checked. How can you do this? Pretty simple. Afforestation. What is afforestation? Growing or planting planting a seed, probably for the future. Land reclamation. Land which is not used should not be used for the commercial purposes. Regulated use of chemical pesticide. With the lot of use of chemical pesticides and fertilizers, it creates soil degradation, soil erosion. So to check it, we have to regulate the use of chemical pesticides and fertilizers. Check on overgrazing. What is overgrazing? The animals which graze the land, if they overgraze, that will create the problem of soil erosion. These are some of the common methods used to conserve land. Now, the issues with the land is one of the issues that we see is landslide. You might have heard about landslide. Normally it happens in a hilly area, mountain area. You'll see Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Northeast Jammu and Kashmir, where a hilly terrain landslide might have occurred 3-4 days. The road is blocked, sometimes killing people, right? Landslides are simply defined as the mass movement of rock, debris, or earth down a slope. They often take place in conjunction with the earthquakes. Whenever there is earthquake, flood, volcano, you can see the landslide also happening. A prolonged spell of rainfall can cause a heavy landslide. So it's very common in the monsoon season. You will observe when the monsoon will start from May 29th, you will see the landslide news on the news. Landslide happening in Uttarakhand, in Himachal Pradesh, right? Now, landslide can block the flow of river for quite some time. The formation of river blocks can cause havoc, wreak havoc to the settlements downstream on its bursting. So, in the hilly terrain, landslides have been a major and widely spread natural disaster that often strike life and property and occupy a position of major concern. I've been very fortunate that I have seen the landslide from happening. Thank goodness I did not, nothing happened to me when we were traveling from Assam to Arunachal Pradesh. The Indo-Tibetan Border Police, called ITBP, one certain ITBP van which had nearly 30 to 35 soldiers, was crushed because of the landslide. It crushed because of the landslides. Huge rocks fell down on the van which was carrying the soldiers, and unfortunately none of them survived. Mitigation techniques. What is mitigation techniques? Advancement in scientific techniques has empowered us to understand what causes landslides and how to manage them, how to manage the landslides. Some broad mitigation techniques of landslides are here. Now, hazard mapping, locate areas prone to landslides. We have to understand which are the areas that are prone to landslides. Hence, such areas can be avoided for building settlements. In those areas, you should not build anything. Remember, I think it's Kedarnath, when in the time of flood, all the buildings, hotels which were built for the people who visit Kedarnath were demolished. You can Google it. Construction of retention wall to stop land from slipping. We can construct a retention wall so that the molecules in the land will not slip and fall onto the ground. Increase in the vegetation cover is an effective way. In increasing the vegetation cover, the plants hold on to the soil firmly, so there is no chance of the soil molecules uh, slipping. So that's a very, very important one. The surface drainage control work are also implemented to control the movement of landslides with the rainwater and spring flows. These are some of the control measures that can be done. Now, the next important resource is soil. Don't worry guys, I'm not going to explain this in this video. Soil will be explained in the next video. In this video, we have studied how land is a resource, how the land is used, problems associated with the land, and how can we conserve it. So till the next video, I'll come back with soil. Keep watching my videos, learn. If you have any doubts, please write to me. Till the next video, stay safe, stay inside, and see you.